Hey everybody, welcome to the
Hello.
very first version of Media Club. Woo, this is the inaugural episode. We finally did it after dreaming this up well over a year ago, at least almost a year ago, because we initially wanted to roll this out in 2021, and 2021 just kind of got crazy. But anyway, let's introduce ourselves. For those that don't know, I'm Paul Schmidt. I'm the owner and creative video strategist of UnoDeuce Multimedia. And so I will go to this way, this way, this way, this way.
That way.
Yeah. Next, go ahead, Nick. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Nick Couture. I'm the creative video architect here at UnoDeuce. So I'm in charge of all the videos, and yeah, so I'll be coordinating with clients and talking with youth throughout the whole process of making your video. And then we can go to James now.
Hi, I'm James. I am the creative live stream alchemist. That's a mouthful, but that is what I am. I do all the live stream stuff. I also pick up any video work that Nick needs any assistance with, and yeah, we just do it all.
You're talking about your title, James, like you didn't come up with it.
I did come up with it. It's just that's the first time I've ever said it out loud. So
What? Yes, that's the crazy thing is we decided to come up. Actually, no, Nick didn't come up with his own title. That was
No,
the
he
title that was
inherited
already
it.
created it. Yeah, that was already there. So here we are with the very first show. How do you guys feel about this?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the first show.
So we do have a format, believe it or not. I know that this may come out rough, and I know that this is the timing of this show probably isn't the best for the simple fact that we are in the midst, or we just started the Ducey Awards this week, which we'll get to later on in this show a little bit, talking a little bit about that. But I didn't want to wait any longer or push this back anymore. So we decided to go. So our first segment that we're going to start with is about roll it, James. And what we're working on, and I think one of the things that we're going to be working on is adding some audio to to that, just because the intro had a nice little cool thing there. But so let's just talk about a what we're excited about, and or let's talk about a project that you've been focused on, either you just finished or you're working on at this present time. So this time, let's start with James. Let's talk about one of the projects that have caught your eye.
Starting with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this week I've been really focused on a couple of live streams, but I'm not going to talk about those. I've been working on a broadcast for Capital Area United Way, which is their volunteer recognition event, and I have put in a lot of hours into this because it's an entirely pre-recorded thing. So like I went in to the studio and we recorded all of it, and then the past 2 weeks I've been doing pretty much editing that and doing live streams in between. But I finally got a cutout to the client today, and they're very excited. So we'll see what happens with it, and it'll be on like Fox. Apparently, Fox is going to broadcast it as well as on their Facebook live stream thing. So that's exciting. What about you, Nick?
That's cool. So talk about a little bit about the process. I mean, you said you went to a studio, you had to develop this for broadcast. I mean, talk a little bit more about what was all what was all entailed into this particular project.
Yeah, so it's pretty much an award show, where they give out awards to volunteers of the year. They had 4 categories, and then they also gave out some CapCan ones, which is Capital Area Partnership. I'm gonna ruin it. Network something to help people get to college. It's like a network to get people to college.
Oh, it's Capital College Area Network.
Yeah, that CapCan. Thanks, Rod. Um,
Yes, thank you, Rod. As always, you're looking good as well with your photo.
so the client developed a whole run of show, and then we recorded all of it ahead of time in front of our green screen, and then like there's people to be distant. There's people passing awards off camera, and then reaching and grabbing them from the camera, and it's kind of fun. And there's like applause added and music, and it's probably we shot 57 pieces of it out of order, and then I put it all together.
Nice. And so you said it's going to be broadcast on live TV as well as.
Yeah, so I end up at this point I'm actually diverting the project into two different branches. So once this gets approved, one will be developed for TV because they have it. It has to be in a certain way where it has to be in segments so that they can insert commercials and things like that. And then the Facebook broadcast, which is it'll be on the client's Facebook, so Capital Area United Way's Facebook. That'll be one continuous thing.
Wow. But
Yeah.
so is it broadcast at two different times?
Yeah, so I don't remember the exact time that theirs is going on their Facebook. I have it in my notes somewhere. But the Fox 47, it'll be on April 20th at 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what? So the Facebook, are they scheduling that out, or do you have to sit and monitor that?
I'll be sitting and monitoring it, pretty sure.
Does that go out on the 20th as well?
Yes, but I believe it's in the afternoon.
Gotcha. Great. 20th is going to be a busy day for us. We'll get to that in a little bit, maybe.
True.
So, well, let's shift over to Nick. Let's see what cool project he wants to talk about.
Yeah, so recently I worked on 3 videos for Michigan Hands and Voices. They're a really cool organization here in Michigan that helps families and parents and kids who have children that have hearing loss. So we did 3 different videos for them. We filmed them all in 2 days, one in Grand Rapids and one in Royal Oak. And it was just really cool, like getting to know them and getting to know their organization, and kind of it's just cool, like so many organizations like you don't know about or you don't hear about, but through working at UnoDeuce, like me and James get to like meet all these cool people and organizations that we never would have known about. But yeah, so that's been a cool one. We also just started the Girl Scout video for this year. And they're always great to work with. We traveled out to Kalamazoo recently and filmed one of the troops there, and just got a lot of sound bites from different girls, and just getting their perspective on why they like Girl Scouts was really cool. So yeah, those are 2 projects that I'm pretty excited about.
Well, what were the 3 videos? What was the subject of the 3 videos for Michigan Hands and Voices?
So one was about their deaf and hard of hearing guides, which are people who have hearing loss, who are meeting kids and families and helping them through that process. So one was focused on the guides. Another one was focused on the 136, which is essentially when your child is born, they want you to, so like when they're first born, you need to do the early hearing screening. And then 3 months, you like have to do the checkup, and then 6 months, you need like aids, hearing aids put in, and things like that. So that was focused on that. And then the last one was just focus on the Guide by Your Side program, which is kind of their overall program that the DHH guides work within, and that was focused more on families and parents who have kids who have hearing loss, and what motivates them to reach out to other parents and help them. So really about parents helping other parents. So yeah, those are the 3 videos.
Now, were some of the people that you interviewed, were they like hard of hearing or had hearing loss? And how were you able to communicate? How were you able to interview?
Yeah, so we had the two guides that we interviewed had hearing loss. So one had an interpreter with him, but we didn't really utilize the interpreter for that one as much. He was able to pick up on a lot of what we were talking about. But then for another one, we had an interpreter that was so the person that we interviewed was just signing, and then the interpreter would speak for him. So we had the audio on the interpreter, and then the subject was just signing the whole time. So that was really, really cool and different for me to do because I hadn't done anything like that before. So that was a really cool experience to shoot that.
That's awesome. Looking forward to those videos launching. I'm looking forward to taking a look at those too. And so, lastly, Nick, with the Girl Scout, what's the subject matter of the Girl Scout video this year?
Yeah, so that one is similar to the last video we did last year, but less emphasis on the virtual and COVID, but just kind of like getting a perspective on where they're at this year. Just taking a look at some of the cool things they're doing and just what is motivating the troop leaders and the kids, and just kind of getting a all-encompassing look at how the year's going, how the past year has been, things like that.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, thanks to you guys for letting the folks know exactly what we should be expecting to see coming up. So, time to move on to our next subject, which is what we're watching. All right. Now, this also means not just watching, but what we're reading, what we're listening to, and so on and so forth. Because this is called the Media Club, and there's something that everybody here should know. We are media nerds. We read, listen, and watch.
And play.
Live. And play. Forgot about the games. The games as well. All of these, why? Because all of those are things that have story attached to it, and that is exactly what we do. We tell stories. We are storytellers. And so I guess what we'll do is we'll go back to Nick. Nick, what are you watching, reading, listening to, or playing?
Yeah, so today I brought a book. It's called The Shining Girls.
Oh.
It's a pretty cool book. So I had read a previous book by this author, Lauren Bukes, called Broken Monsters, which was centered on like a supernatural serial killer. But that one was based in Detroit, and it kind of had a lot of like urban decay and that sort of thing going on. So I really liked that book. I read that a few years ago. So then when I had heard that this book was going to be a Apple TV show soon, I was like, oh, I should read that because I like that author. And this one is really cool too. It's about also kind of about a supernatural serial killer. But for this one, it's about this guy who discovers this house that kind of has like supernatural powers, where he enters the house, and then when he leaves, he's transported into a different point in time. So like he's in like the 1930s. He like enters the house, and then when he leaves, it's like 1970s. So he goes through, and then he's kind of being drawn to like murder all these victims and all this stuff. And essentially something goes wrong, and one of his victims like gets away. So she's kind of on a mission to figure out who attacked her, and she's kind of uncovering the story about this guy who seems like he's like not totally human, and but yeah, it's really cool. It's a lot of it takes place in the 90s in Chicago, so there's a lot of cool history things with that, and Um, yeah, I'm pretty excited for um, the Apple TV show too because it's got Elizabeth Moss who
Mm,
she's good at. She's never bad. Um, so yeah, I'm pretty excited for that.
yeah, that is
Yeah,
true. Elizabeth Moss is one of those actors or performers that it does. If even if the project is not great, she is, and
yeah.
she brings up the level. So anyway, uh, James.
Yeah. So this is super topical because it came out like last week. Um, I've been watching Bridgerton season 2. Finished that up. If you like Bridgerton season 1, you'll definitely like Bridgerton season 2. The set design's there. Like the costumes are there. The romance is there. It's a much weirder plot than season 1. Not gonna lie. It's about the Viscount, right? Falling in love with his betrothed sister. It's very awkward. And
Well,
then his betrothed is constantly like, "Oh, I figured out what the problem is. You need to fall in. He needs to fall in love with you." So she keeps sending them out dancing. It's very awkward, but it was pretty great. I enjoyed it all throughout. I will say that the soundtrack was nowhere near as good as the first season because like the first season had a lot more popular music at the time that they made into like classical, and then this one was like throwbacks. Like we're talking, there was some '90s music, '80s music turned classical, which isn't a bad thing. It's just not as topical.
hmm.
But yeah, I like that show.
Well, let me ask you guys this:
Hmm.
Do you guys, um, when you're watching something, uh, and this is Kayleen. Kayleen has a great comment about which is, but when you guys watch something as a TV show or as a film or whatever, do you guys figure that you listen to the music a lot and you're able to pick up some of the things that they're trying to do with music? Um, because my wife is really good at that. She can recognize things.
Like
Like,
motifs.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, and that's not something she normally can do without the music aspect of it. So, I mean, I've learned to appreciate the music and the sound of how or how music is used because of I've learned to appreciate it more because of what she notices. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, um, as for me, as I wrap up this segment of Media Club, I want to draw your attention to a show that's going on as we speak. It's still mid season, and it's called Winning Time. It's on HBO Max. It's about the rise of the Los Angeles Lakers, starting with the arrival of Magic Johnson. And I was like, oh, let me check it out. I've been hearing some decent things. I was blown away from the first episode of it was how it looked. It looked like you were transported back to that time period, and the costumes, the the how they used this, how the cinematographer used, or not maybe not just the cinematographer, but how the whole production crew chose the film stocks. They made it look like it was like the different film stocks of that time period, whether it was film or video. It just had this graininess to it. It just, I mean, it kind of like um, had you think a little bit about like Boogie Nights because it's about the same time period. Um, and
So
John,
it's a docudrama then?
I wouldn't say docudrama. It's straight up drama. It's a I wouldn't say a reenactment, but it is like, well, maybe it's closer to a docudrama. But John C. Riley is great. They have some supporting great actors as supporting characters like Adrian Brody is Pat Riley, Sally Fields plays John C. Riley's mom, and she's like she eats up the screen every time she's on. This is like it's an Adam McKay production. So if anybody knows Don't Look Up or Vice or The Big Short, that's the kind of thing you're going to get from that. They do break the fourth wall a lot. Sometimes I think they do it a little too much, but I think it's a spectacularly made show. And at this point, I think it's been really entertaining. So if you have HBO Max, I highly recommend it. Plus, it has the Lansing connection, and they do mention a lot about Lansing, and they actually get stuff right, not just make up locations and stuff like that. And the actor who I've lost his name, but he plays Magic Johnson, did a really good job on the research of Magic Johnson. He sounds like him. He moves like him at that time period. That I can only think back because when this at this time
Quincy
period,
Isaiah.
I was like 5, so I wouldn't remember any of this. So yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's
check out.
I feel like Adam McKay must be obsessed with Lansing because there was the weird Lansing connection in Don't Look Up.
That was definitely not Lansing.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's the only thing. So he's actually made up for that a little bit, where it just looks and feels and the look. I think he learned his lesson on that one because boy, it's just like because it was supposed to be Michigan State. Don't Look Up and Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence are like, that's not.
They filmed it.
That's Harvard, man, or something.
Yeah, it was like Boston or something.
It was like that is so New England. It's not even close. So anyway, all right. Well, it looks like we don't have any Q&As or questions or anything at this point in time. But so we're going to preempt that with talking about this week, which is, or this month. Let's just start with this month. This month, for those that don't know, is periodically or typically our annual client appreciation month, which is called the Duceys. Yes, the Duceys do have a relation to the Dundies, but these are actual awards given out in good faith, not like how the Dundies were created. But it was created 10 years ago, so this is our 10th anniversary of the Ducey Awards. And how it's broken down is that there's a category each week, a new category each week for the month of April for 4 weeks with a new video or with 5 videos that are in that category that were nominated. Nominations were done by us. And so, so this week is most informational. Oh, I forgot to say, you only have 1 week to vote on these. When the category is up, you have 1 week to vote, and then we tally the votes. And on this show, we will actually reveal the winners and hopefully bring on the winners in 4 weeks. When this is all over, bring them on to talk about their time in the sun and being a winner of a Ducey Award. So anyway, with all that being said, oh, look at that.
Yeah, and that's where you can vote for things.
That's
I voted.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys voted yet, but I voted.
I always feel weird about voting.
Why?
I don't know.
It's our awards. We can vote. You only vote once.
Yeah, you can vote once. You're right. Each week you can vote.
Mm-hmm.
Each week.
I voted.
But you
I'm
can
not going to say who I voted
as
for.
you go and vote. That's the link right there.
Yeah.
You can follow us on the social media. You probably have seen most of the posts go out. So let's talk a little bit about this this award. So awards, the most informational video of the year. The nominees are, look at that. Look at
Who's doing that one?
Yeah,
I didn't click
what's
that.
happening there? I like that. So the first one that I have here is Shiawassee Community Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And that video was in conjunction with the Shiawassee County Health Department, in which they talked about the COVID-19 situation that was particular to that county. So that's one of them. Another one is Area Agencies on Aging Association of Michigan, or as we like to refer to them here, 4MI, 4AMI,
Or just 4A.
4A.
There's a lot of A's.
There's a lot of A's in Area Agencies on Aging Association, and so actually I think that's their abbreviation because that's in their email. But this video is for Older Michiganians Day. Now this is actually their first nomination ever, and so they were a brand new client last year, and so that was a really cool video. You want to talk a little bit about that one, Nick?
Yeah. So that was we worked with our favorite person on that, Jen, and yeah, that was we had them come in the studio. We recorded a little bit there, and then they sent us a lot of footage that they had gotten over, quarantine and just the past year. And yeah, that video was super fun. And then we have another video this year that we launched, so they could be in the awards next year too. So look out for that.
Yes, they also have a live stream coming up on the
Yes.
Capitol lawn, so that'll be exciting too.
A lot of stuff happening. Yeah, that video will be coming into our world around next month, I think. So, other video that is up for the award is the Shiawassee Regional Chamber of Commerce, and we're in the midst of a series of videos for them. But this one's on their manufacturing, which I thought was really cool. We got to go and see some of the places where and get some cool footage. So that was really cool. The next one is the Office of the Ingham County Clerk, where we talked where Barb Byram, who is the Ingham County Clerk, talked a little bit about what she does and what the office of the county clerk is responsible for in deep terms. And it's like, it was really interesting, very educational or informational. So that was really cool. Anybody want to talk about that one?
We were both on that shoot, right, Nick?
Yeah.
And that was we shoot that one
That was like in the
February of last year. No,
was it?
it was early. It was
okay.
early. Like it had everything melted, and we were like, we have a day to shoot this. But we went out there and we filmed her outside, I believe. Let me look at that real quick. Yeah, we filmed her outside, and then you got B-roll and.
Yeah, Barb's great. We like working with Barb a lot. Yeah, she's great.
Yep.
Sorry, it was a long time ago. We made that
video. It was early. So, and the last nominee is the Community Economic Development Association of Michigan. And you're going to notice in some of these that we work with people that have some crazy long names. So luckily, they abbreviate them. So this one is also referred to as CEDM. And they did a short video about how to be a member and what being a member means of their organization. So to wrap this up, you guys have a favorite?
I mean, I voted. Do we say who we voted for? Is that illegal?
Yeah, you can say who you voted for. I don't care.
I voted for 4A.
Okay.
Who'd you vote for, Nick? Who you voted for?
I haven't voted. I do like 4A. I do like CEDM too, though. And I want to say that's the shoot that my back of my head is in the billboard. So that one has a little special place in my heart.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Which you've noticed on Saginaw, the billboard was put back up.
I did.
It hasn't gone away in certain areas. It's really cool.
Really?
The one on Lake Lansing's still there.
I'm sorry, not Saginaw, but Oakland.
On Oakland?
Yeah, it's on Oakland, near the bridge.
Yeah, as 2 weeks ago, the one on Lake Lansing was still up as well.
Nice. So anyway, that's our show for this week. If you have any questions about anything that we've talked about, please drop us a line at UnoDeuce.com. Please go to our website and vote for your favorite video for this week, which is most informational video of the year. We will be doing this every week. If you missed it, if you happen to miss any of these, the replays will always be available on Facebook and YouTube, and we will, once the Ducey Awards are over, we will start posting these to the website as part of our blog rule starting in May. So thanks for joining with us in this very first Media Club edition. What do you guys think?
I think it went well.
Good, yeah, I think it was good.
It's good.
All right. And that's a show, as
That's a show.
our friend Malik would like to say. And that's a show. See you guys next week.
Bye.